following show is a paid program.
Hey family, how you doing today? We are with the best of the best, Mr. Ben Tankard, the godfather of gospel jazz. My God, he has won 9 Stellar Awards, 34 Stellars, 8 Dove, 3 Grammy nominations with over 20 gold and platinum records. Hello, my friend, how you doing?
What's going on, great leader? Thanks for
Oh
allowing
my
me to come
God.
chat.
I'm so proud of you. Oh, everything you guys are doing. And now we get to talk about your reality show too. Coming up, season 4. My God, Thicker Than Water,
Yes.
the Tankards. Let's just go back a little bit. How did you get into music?
Well, I was born a musician, man. I used to play, take my mom's pots and pans and make a little drum set at years old. You know how that is. And she's like, you making all. She put me in the band, became a pretty good tuba player and a drummer, and also 6'6". Everybody forced me to play basketball in school. So when I got ready to graduate, Cam, I had over 30 scholarship offers for basketball and band. And what's my love? You know, the number 2 tuba player in the nation. Come on now.
Wow.
I thought I was going to be a tuba. But, you know, born and raised in a ghetto, very, very poor. So my parents said, listen, you're black, you're poor, let's just have you play ball. Come on.
Right.
And black, we're poor, play ball. So I took the basketball scholarship instead of the band, just because I thought it would be a way to go pro and come back and get my family out of non-prosperity. And but that didn't work out. I made it all the way to the NBA, but I got injured at the Portland Trailblazers camp and got cut.
Wow.
So that's what brought me back to my first love, music. I went to church and minister prayed for my hands and told me to sit down to the piano.
Right.
And I had never played. But I put my hands on the keys, and the first time I played, Cam, I began to play like a professional jazz musician. But I'm in church. And so I decided to keep the gift in the church and call it. And now, years later, I'm considered the godfather of the whole genre.
Wow. I want us to go back because people need to understand gifts, right? The gift, right? And it says here that you, again, like you said, never had taken a lesson or anything for piano.
Never had a lesson. It's just like God added a whole new dimension to my mind. And I'll be honest, I'm not sure if the gift came that night or if it was in me the whole time. But if it was the whole time, I wouldn't have known because I was chasing a basketball.
Right.
So sometimes we can drown out the true gift that God has given us because we're chasing a gift that somebody else expects us to live up to.
Right.
Or you're just trying to keep Joneses or trying to do what you think is profitable for the moment.
Absolutely. And looking at everything you've been doing, it says here too about the ministry. You've gone and become you became a minister. Where did that start and why so?
That's a good question. You're such an awesome interviewer, man. That's such a good question because being raised poor and my ministers, and they were the ones that said, the poorer you are, the closer you are to God. So, you know, food stamps, welfare peanut butter, powdered egg, hamburger, no hamburger, you know, mayonnaise, maybe every now and then a tomato in it.
Right.
That's how I was raised.
Right.
And so I say that with Christendom. So the last thing I had to do was be a minister. Right. Because I thought that minister had to have this vile poverty. I'm like, no, that's not for me. Right. But what happened is when I travel as a gospel jazz instrumentalist, I learned this, that as an instrumental artist, I don't sing. If I don't have to say in between the songs, and if I don't do stuff that gets the audience involved,
Right.
then I'm just a lizard. People will be talk and walk all over you if you're just playing. You're just a soundtrack for their conversation.
Right.
So what I did, I started coming up with little quotes and inspirational thoughts between the songs and tie the title of the song into that introduction. And people say, hey man, we like the music, but talk a little bit more to us. Tell us about, you said the song is called Heavenly Vibes. You know, what does that mean? And so I was found so much to where people were like, we're booking you to come play, but make sure you minister as much as you play. And that's how it kind of turned being a pastor or a minister.
I loved what in reading your story, because the other thing about you as you travel in your ministry and your gospel jazz, you then say, okay, I tell them, the ministers or whomever, maybe they don't have a lot of money, but whatever seed offering they can give, they can do that. That's my travel. And that has benefited you along the way.
It is amazing, because you would think that unless you get an ironclad contract, you're taken to the cleaners. But I decided to go another way. You know who anointed me to do that? It was Creflo Dollar.
Wow.
Creflo Dollar called me up, and he prayed for me one night. I was at one of his services that I played at. And he says, Ben, you know, God is calling you to be a minister of the music, not a musician that's just a hireling, whoever pays the highest price. So I'm going to encourage you to just drop your contract and just believe God to make your living, and just go where people do. Don't be prejudiced toward any set or any particular denomination or church or promoter. Go anywhere that you're invited and just give your gift and watch God make you rich. I thought he was crazy.
Right.
But I obeyed, threw up the contract, Cam, and said, all right, I'm coming. Give me a plane ticket, or if you can afford to give me enough gas for my little airplane, I'll fly my own plane, fill the tank up. It's a prop plane. I'll I'll get there. You tell the people to come to the concert. We'll have a good time. And if you got something left, give it to me. If you're not, no problem. I became a mayor in 2 years.
With just that direct word of God says it. And he says it in his word. He does say it. But many times we didn't see that. And when I read your story, that was in the word. I was like, wow, that really is true. And in 2 years, you became who you are.
Man, I'm telling you, and you know, now, you know, I live in a mansion in Tennessee.
Yeah.
A vacation home in Florida, a vacation home in Atlanta, and a vacation home in Detroit, and we're about to buy a vacation home in Scottsdale, Arizona. Who lives in has 4 vacation homes in 4 states and plays for free?
Right. Let's go back. Let's go back to what you said. You grew up with what? Sandwiches. You put mayonnaise into it, and it may have a tomato inside. Now look at what God has blessed you with. Overflow.
So I'm living slap dab in the middle of the principle of the fishes and the loaves.
Yeah.
Because who can feed 5,000 men? And you know there's always more women and children at church than men.
Yeah.
So if you fed men, it had to have been at least 12,000 more women and children. So who feeds all those people off a Happy Meal from Captain D's?
Yes.
From a kid for 2 fishes and loaves. That same anointing on me, because the people that charge all the money, and I'm not trying to hate on any artist and what, but the people that were back, the Cam, if I'm coming to your festival, you're going to have to pay me 50 grand, 25 up front, 25 when I'm 25 before I hit the stage. I'm telling you, you try to book a festival and do that, that's what's going to happen. So I'm not trying to judge, but those people, you can put their houses inside my house 3 times.
Wow.
You know, they have to fly commercial. I have 2 private airplanes that I fly myself. Yeah. God has blessed me crazy, and I give my gift to the people, and God just multiplies it. And that's my story. to it.
Just multiplies it and multiplies it and multiplies it. Let's talk a little bit, people, about music and the business of the music. We know there's creativity. We know there's 10% of the music, right? There's creativity. But we as a people lose out on the 90%, lose out on that part of the business side. We're not represented. Many times we don't understand contracts. We're just signing them, and we sign over our royalties. We sign over our publishing. We sign over different things because we don't know. But now COVID happened, right? Shut down everywhere, and people were losing everything.
That's such a great question. Again, man, you are the interviewer of the year. That question is so good for our people because I learned something when I watched the Ray Charles movie. And what's the guy that played in it? He did such a great job. Can't remember his name right now. Used to play on this Sunday night show that came on in Living Color. Amy Fox, yeah. The movie was so good, but what I learned most from the movie was, man, this guy had his own airplane. This guy had his own office building.
Yes.
This guy had his own corporation, his own company. And so I wasn't just in that movie. I'm taking notes. Why can't Ben Tankard have his own office building?
Right.
Why can't Ben Tankard own his studio and have his own company? And that's what I did, man. 16 years with Sony. Thank God for Sony Verity, who gave me my start. I was a producer that discovered Yolanda Adams, and I was able to 40 songs with her. I worked with all these other different artists, Shirley Murdoch, Kelly Price, and Take Six, and all. And thank God for my start. But after being with Sony for 16 years, Camp, I got smart, man, especially when I saw that movie, because this is a quick lesson for those who are in music. Out of the $10 that a record is going to sell for, they're going to give you 10% royalty if you're with a label. So if you're lucky, you're going to get cents to $1. So if you sell 100,000 copies and you get $1, praise God, that's $100,000 that you make off that record. But they're going to take back their marketing and their production costs out of that, and it's called recoupment. And so you may never see a dime of royalty because they got to get their money back that it costs to produce it. But where does the other $9 go?
Promise is to make sure my baby is safe and healthy, because I know it is possible to acquire syphilis, HIV, or other STDs without knowing it. Getting tested is my very first chance to protect my baby. Doctors are required to give expectant mothers 3 separate tests for syphilis. If you're pregnant, ask your doctor if you're being tested properly for syphilis and other STDs. Congenital syphilis can lead to a miscarriage, stillbirth, or an infant death. Don't risk your baby's health. To find out more, visit myprenatalpromise.com.
amazing things for you.
Experience the pinnacle of performance at Ron Carter Cadillac. Drive the new 2021 Cadillac XT4 Luxury Collection for only $369 a month, or the new 2021 Cadillac XT5 Luxury Collection for only $449 a month, or the new 2021 XT6 Luxury Collection for only $509 a month, all for 39 months lease with just $1 down. Gulf Freeway, just 2 minutes south of the Beltway.
When you shop Ron Carter, Cadillac.com.
Have you heard about Hero Go TV offering free TV?
And now back to the Cam Hill Show.
Hey, we're back, family, with Mr. Ben Tankard. I am so happy at you explaining everything to people. They have just been thanking you for that, because there's so many independent artists and new artists on the show, listening right now. As new artists coming out of, just trying to break into it, but also COVID is here, right? And they're really trying to get their foot out there. What are some things they need to be doing right now?
The best thing that you can do is to develop all of your skills, not just your musical skills, because sometimes your passion doesn't feed you.
That's right.
Sometimes your passion needs to be fed. Do yourself a service by putting all of your time and all effort into your music, especially if it's not paying you right now, and you feel like it has to have you 24/7, and relationships get messed up. Your family gets mad because you're always in the studio, you're always on the road, you're always chasing this next level, and this next level never comes. If I had to do it over, Cam, I would make more time for the kids' recitals, basketball practices, date nights, stuff like that. Because I'm 2 times divorced. I'm happy now with Jewel, 20 years, great. But I went through 2 demonic dress rehearsals because I was a hardie.
I understand.
I would not that any of my fans and friends go through what I went through to get where I am today. Just take off where I left off and learn from my mistakes and just build on my successes.
Absolutely.
And be yourself. There's something in you that's not in anybody else. Be yourself, because everybody else is taken. Everybody else.
You've got you've got a great CD out, instrumental CD called Shine, that's out there.
I'm so excited, man. It's #1 on Billboard. I mean, and Billboard top chart. And not in the nation, but in the world. So at least for a minute, I'm #1 in the world.
Right, you are. You are #1 in the world. Let's jump into this reality show. I understand it's a blended family. You all have blended together. But thank God for your daughter, Brooklyn, for even thinking of that. How did we start? How do we think about it?
Well, years ago, I started playing jokes on the family, practical jokes, and posting and stuff on YouTube. And just because my family is very wacky. And so Brooklyn did a compilation of these videos and started sending it off. And next thing I know, NBC Bravo approached us in 2012 to prepare for a reality show called Tankard in Water, The Tankards, that started in 2013. And we did a 3-season, 5-year run with them. Had a great time. Blended family has some issues. You ain't none of my daddy. Well, I'm feeding you. You look like me, so you want to do what I say. Or they took my curling iron. There's always some drama going on with blended families. And so it was very exciting. We did our run with Bravo and did very good. What happened was that in order to continue with Bravo, we was going to have to start acting like other Bravo celebrities. You've seen the Housewives of Atlanta and other shows. And so the producers they weren't forcing anything on us, but they were pretty much saying, listen, if we want to continue this, y'all gonna have to turn the heat up. And I'm like, I'm not throwing no water in my wife's face. She's from Detroit.
Very smart. That was very smart. Regardless if we're on camera, right?
There you go. And so what happened was I had a chance to be with Steve Harvey in some of his Act Like a Success conferences. I had a chance to chat with my good friend Derek Luke, a great actor and producer out of California. And everybody was saying the same thing. Tyler Perry, own your own content. Own your own content. Own your own content. So rather than try to keep jumping through hoops to please Bravo or try to go somewhere else where I could be just, a face in the crowd, we decided to own this thing, Cam, and take season 4 and beyond and produce it ourselves. I got the money, I got the team, and do it ourselves and have no drama. This is just a season-long Instagram post. You get to see what's happening with Tankards, in our homes, when we go flying, when we do our ministry. I'm a pastor too, so you get to see all the sides of Tankard. If you don't want to see it, don't watch it. But if you are going to see it, you're going to be encouraged. You're not going to we ain't had no drama, no arguments, nobody slamming doors, nobody getting cussed out, just straight PG-13.
Right, absolutely. I'm so glad you said that. We're now trying to educate us, right? Educate each other in such a broad realm like you're doing right now, because many people have reality shows and things that they've been trying to shop for years and years and years, and they have not wanted to add that in there, right? So they're still on the shelf. They're still on the shelf because of the fact that they've been pushing it there, but they really want the drama.
Right. And and I am not Al Sharpton. I am not the civil rights guy that's the first to show up when there is an injustice. Yeah. I'm pretty much a cool, pray for everybody, can we all get along sort of guy. Right. But just for a minute, let me go Attorney Crump just for a minute here. You can have a white show like the Kardashians, and they are pretty much watching paint dry on the episodes. They're sitting up, changing the coffee filters, and talking about, oh yeah, I'm thinking about going to the movie. Just it's almost like watching a balloon race. And they can have 20 seasons and $200 million and get renewed every year.
Yes.
But Tankard Zone for 3 seasons. Now you got folks calling you in the front office saying, you really need to keep going. In other words, if I'm black, you want me to slap my wife, cuss my kids out, and stay on TV. Not the devil liar. I'm too rich for that. I can do my own show. Show what I want to show is that the Tankards do have some sense. We do have challenges, but we love each other and we put God first, and we are very wealthy. I want to see that you can be too if you believe God. That's what I want people. Right. Not just, oh, why you did this, why you did this, slam this and hit that and cut. Yeah. That's what they will pay you to do, but I won't do it, Cam. I won't do it. But
I'm glad you said something showing that we can do it. We don't have to do that and still have the wealth. I'm glad that people can see that it's not, first of all, we've got to go back and know that Jesus walked on streets of gold. A lot of people don't realize that. They feel like he was poor all of that time, and that's who he was. No. We need to know about the real deal, that we are supposed to have the dominion. We're supposed to have everything.
Right. And there's no way in the world. I came from a poverty, and there's no way in the world I could give away 30 cars like we have in the last, since we started our ministry. We've given away 30 vehicles.
Right.
No way I could if I was struggling with my own car payment, bro.
Right. I'm glad you're saying that. Let's say those things. Let's speak that and let people know that we're supposed to have. We're supposed to have.
And nothing wrong with a meager upbringing. I came up with I came up with Vienna sausages. If you don't
Right.
watch me, I eat sausage a day
Right.
in a mansion.
Exactly. Exactly.
And
Exactly.
black and white programs, but I'm gonna watch it on a color TV.
Right. But I think it's like they say our mindset. We just have to have that shift when we see something that looks, a person that looks like us. That's what it is.
Right, and we got to be careful not to hate on those that have.
Right.
You know, because if you don't congratulate, you never have to worry about being able to participate.
Yeah. I think the main thing too, like you're saying, we ask each other, okay, instead of the envy and jealousy, how did you get it? What do we need to do?
How do you,
There you go. What do we need to
And
do
then-
to get it?
and so the show, we're going to launch the show. I partnered with a great film producer by the name of Carl Jackson. Look him up. He's
Yes.
one of our biggest secrets, but he's not going to be a secret long. He's a
Right.
talented producer named Carl Jackson. He partnered with me to produce it for us and direct it for us. And he's first of all, Carl is a Ben Tankard fan, and this is a lesson. Don't ever hire anybody to work for you that's not a fan of your work.
Wow, that's a good one. That's good.
So at the battle was this guy was on my side before I wrote one. He was already a fan, you know, and so he's already reading my mind, reading my movements. He knows that I wanted my music included in this show. My music is all through this show. Bravo always wanted to use other royalty-free music beds so they wouldn't have to pay. But so you didn't. Even though I'm this world-renowned musician with my reality show, you rarely heard my music on my show. This time, that's all you hear is. So I'm just so excited. We're going to launch it off on August the 28th, every Sunday night on the CJC network. And later on, we'll add on and Tubi and those sort of opportunities for people to binge watch. But if you want it firsthand, you got to go to tvcjc.com.
Absolutely.
TVC.
Let's talk about the blended family. How you and Jewel got together. She talks about that, about how you all met.
You know, the first thing we had to do, Cam, is we had to tear up the rule book. We had to tear up the rule book of thing that we thought we knew about parenting. Because I had been divorced twice. He had been divorced once. So we both knew how to have a bad marriage really, really good. So we tore up the rule book and said, listen, we're going to start over. Whatever we heard about blended family, let's throw it out the window. Let's start fresh, come up with our own rules. We'll come up with our own love system. First of all, we don't call any of the step anything. Ain't no step daddy, no step mamas, no step kids. It's your bonus mom, your bonus dad, and your extra children.
Right. I love that. I like that. That's good. That's good.
And
that's good.
It was a challenge at first, but over the years we began to grow, and we're growing every day. And I asked Bishop Jakes when I began to do TV. I said, Bishop Jakes got this opportunity with NBC Bravo to do a reality show. What do you think, man? He says, Tank, do the show. Do it. Don't hide your problems. Don't hide your challenges, because every family has to have a core principle.
Right.
And if you don't show core principle being challenged, people will never know that the core principle holds up.
Yeah, that's
So
good.
be transparent. You know, I'm transparent about the reason I am so rich now, Cam, is I've gone through having 3 homes foreclosed and 6 cars repossessed. You know how challenging it is to park your car to where the snake where somebody else can park and possess the car. I mean, I've gone through that. You know, I've been put out. You know, so nothing scares me. I've had repossessions. I've had foreclosures. I've had 2 divorces. So really, when you look at it, if you count the stats, I'm the biggest loser in the room. But God. But God.
But God, I tell you. But people need to know that. People need to know that it happens. It does. It happens. And
Yes,
experience is what they say. Experience is the best teacher, huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Not somebody else's experience should be the best teacher. Some stuff.
Absolutely, absolutely. But I'm glad you spoke on that. I'm glad you said that because now other people, especially during COVID, lost jobs. 40,000 people or 40 million or so lost jobs during this COVID era, right? People have passed away,
Yes, sir.
death has happened really big, and people need to know it's okay to transition and do, through a process. They've got to transition.
You said it, man. Pivot.
Yeah.
One of the things that I learned as a basketball player is the most important thing is the pivot foot.
Right.
Just because the enemy cuts off this path for you doesn't mean that you have to go through him. You can just pivot and go around. That's what makes a basketball player a good basketball player, if he knows how to pivot on obstacles. And COVID-19 was a I call it like a Goliath. But you know something? You remember David?
Yes.
David, I don't think Goliath was created to take David out. I think Goliath was created to make David famous. Because had I defeated Goliath, you never would have heard David's top 10 hits.
Right.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. But it's just that abides in the shadow of the Almighty. All those big hits from the greatest songwriter of all time might have never come into fruition had he not defeated that giant that made him.
Right.
And so pivoting of this COVID-19, I had to learn a new skill because, making all this money on the road as a concert artist, but then all of a sudden, boom!
Yeah.
Concerts
end of February, beginning of March, shut it down.
Shut it down. Who would have thought that Easter Sunday, the biggest church day of the year, nobody would be in the church?
Right.
I mean, we had to pivot, man. And one of the things I did was I learned a new skill. I learned how to be a HFX binary trader on my computer. So now I can get on my and trade your currency pairs and make just as much as I did on the road, but do it in 3 minutes instead of a month on the road.
Wow. Wow. And I believe God was trying to stop the world in a sense of, can you hear me now?
There you go. I agree.
Can you hear me now?
I agree.
Because we were moving and we were going here and we were going there. We were moving,
One thing COVID taught us was that there's nowhere you really got to be.
Right. Right. That's the truth. That's the truth. Because he closed down the churches and the clubs.
And I think God has a sense of humor, and I think his favorite word is "and."
Yes.
Because go to him to prayer and say, God, if you don't do this for me by Friday, I'm gonna get kicked out. And they won't get. And I won't be able to get that new car I wanted. And and I won't be happy. And causes you to think.
Yes.
COVID-19 caused us to use a portion of our brain that we never would have accessed. And that's where the millions live.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, I agree. Definitely on that. In looking along the way, Shine, like we said, your instrumental CD, there's some great ones on there. And one of them had a tinge, Kirk Franklin was on there, Melodies of Heaven.
Oh, yeah, Melodies from Heaven. My Kirk Franklin story is when I was working with Yolanda Adams back in the 90s. She blew up overnight. So I'm at the James Cleveland convention, and a very young Kirk Franklin approaches me, and he was so hyper. He's always hyper, but think about Kirk 30 years ago hyper.
Right.
It's almost like a 6-pack of 5-hour energy drink. He was all over the place. He was like, Tank, I got the song I want you to hear. Mr. Tankard, I want you to hear the song. Like, okay, Kurt, I kind of heard you was a good choir director from Texas, but what is it? What you got? And everybody's trying to reach me because Yolanda's big. I'm at the James Cleveland convention. Everybody's trying to get the tape review. And so here's this little guy that's just all over the place. He's like a Scottish terrier, trying to jump on the back of an elephant. Like Tank. I said, all right, Kurt, come over here to the corner. It's very loud. There's people talking. and he has a boom box. He said, check this out. And so he puts a tape in this boom box, and what comes on is his voice. Someone asked a question, and then the choir sings, someone asked a question, why do we sing? Why do we sing? So I said, Kurt, man, that's a really nice sounding song. Can you let me hear the version of just the choir? Because obviously this is a rehearsal tape of you teaching the choir. He goes, no, Tank, this one I'm pushing. I want to sell it just like this. I say it, then the choir say it. I say it first, then the choir say it. And I'm like, no, I don't think that will ever sell, Kurt.
Right.
So I was one of Kirk Franklin's early rejections that caused him to persevere and be the artist that he is today. 40 million albums later, he still won't let me hear it now. And so I put the song Melodies from Heaven on my record Shine, just as a way of honoring Kirk Franklin. You got it wrong, you got it right, but it's all good. And Melodies of Heaven is a great song. So let me redo it in my manner, just in honor of Kirk Franklin, my friend, who I rejected 30 years ago.
I love it. Let's do this. We'll go for a break on the Cam Hill Show.
We'll be right back to the Cam Hill Show after these messages.
My prenatal promise is to make sure my baby is safe and healthy because I know it is possible to acquire syphilis, HIV, or other STDs without knowing it. Getting tested is my very first chance to protect my baby. Doctors are required to give expectant mothers 3 separate tests for syphilis. If you're pregnant, ask your doctor if you're being tested properly for syphilis and other STDs. Congenital syphilis can lead to a miscarriage, stillbirth, or an infant death. Don't risk your baby's health. To find out more, visit myprenatalpromise.com.
Amazing things for you.
Experience the pinnacle of performance at Ron Carter Cadillac. Drive the new 2021 Cadillac XT4 Luxury Collection for only $369 a month, or the new 2021 Cadillac XT5 Luxury Collection for only $449 a month, or the new 2021 XT6 Luxury Collection for only $509 a month, all for 39 months lease with just $1 down. Gulf Freeway, just 2 minutes south of the Beltway.
When you shop Ron Carter, Cadillac.com.
Have you heard about Hero Go TV offering free TV?
And now back to the Cam Hill Show.
Hey, family, we're back with Mr. Ben Tankard. Ben, there was another one that I love. How deep is your love? The Bee Gees. Remember the Bee Gees had that one, but yours is beautiful rendition.
Man, I believe anybody that's a baby boomer or generation, whatever, or millennials, I think everybody has a favorite Bee Gees song. And man, these guys, they were white guys, but they had this tremendous harmony, and some of them had a soprano, almost like a gospel keynotes quartet soprano, you know, great harmonies. And so this is one of my favorite songs from back in the 70s, so I decided to redo it. But who gave me the idea to do it was P.J. Morton. Pastor Paul Morton is a big bishop in Christendom, and his son is a tremendous R&B singer, and he redid it a couple years ago. And I reached out to PJ and I said, man, I like your rendition of how Deep Is Your Love so much that I'm gonna do a rendition of your rendition.
Right.
So this is How Deep Is Your Love twice removed.
I love that. In looking along the way, and we were talking about the fact about just music and being independent, people are asking the question about leaving like you left Sony or so. And of course, the marketing part of it. And you have done so much of your marketing, which is fantastic, that they feel like that part they would lose out on, but they don't. Let's talk to them and let them know they can't. They market
Let
themselves.
me tell you something, Cam. When I got ready to do the final record that I did for Sony back in 2011, they sent a team of people to live with me for a week and a half and show me what to do on social media that they needed me to do to make my record sell.
Right.
That's when my life went on and said, listen, if I got to do all this, I might as well get the whole $7
Right.
instead of 8 cents. So that helped me make my mind up. They don't know that was the nail in the coffin when they did that. And so you ever watched the movie The Wizard of Oz? And you remember Dorothy and her friends went before the big wizard, and he was huffing and puffing. But there was a black curtain, and there was a guy behind that curtain that was mashing the buttons.
Right.
And Toto pulled the curtain back and exposed it. But the Oz wasn't Oz. Oz was the guy behind the curtain.
Right.
That is me. That is you. That is every creative person. All we got to do is go behind the curtain and hit the right buttons and get the right team, and you can create your image as wide as you need to be. And you don't need a record label or a big studio to do it. You can do it yourself. Just stay behind the black curtain, but don't let Toto pull the curtain.
I love that. I love that. I love that. That is so key, though. That's key.
So behind
when they came and told you that and gave you that information, that's key.
Exactly. And so behind that curtain, that's Tyler Perry writing the bios, writing the scripts, writing your own wiki page. You tell people what you want them to think of you. You don't come out and say, "No, think about this. We need to support." Then the word support is now a cuss word in the creative world, because if you say that word, automatically dish you. No, you need to come out like, "Oh my God, you don't have this yet? What's wrong with you? What? What's wrong with you?" If you don't toot your own horn, nobody will. And you can never be pitiful enough for somebody to give you enough to supply the life that you want. That's why those people that are on the side of the road, I don't care how great the sign is or how pitiful they look, it's never going to be enough that comes from people handing stuff out of their window to support the life that you really, really want in life. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to be the one that creates the image, and at least be for yourself. If you're not for yourself, you can't expect nobody else to be for yourself. I don't care who's running for Congress, who's running for president. You need to vote for you.
There you go. There you go. Let's talk to some people and give some information to them up front. What would you like to tell the viewers? And take your time in talking to viewers about, and I'm talking about from the music side to reality shows or anything in being themselves. Our people need to know a lot of things, and we need to be educated. We really do.
I think one of the things that we can do immediately that can help us, and no matter what walk of life that we are in, is we need to connect closer to God, our Creator, because He is the one that it gives us all of this fruit and all of this gift. So what you can do starting tomorrow, and I put it in my book, The Full Tank Life, is don't begin your day with your cell phone. Don't begin your day with the cell phone. And in fact, you should fire your cell phone as your alarm device, because when it wakes you up in the morning, the first thing you do, you start looking at notifications and going through other people's lives and social media, and you begin your day at someone else's pace. So I'm going to encourage you not to begin your day with your cell phone, to begin your day with prayer, begin your day with praise. Then you want to exercise and eat. Then you want to read and reflect. Then you want to dream and direct. I'll call it Self-Aligned by 7:59. I did a study, Cam, of successful people, and I learned that people like yourself accomplish more before 8 in the morning than other people accomplish all day long. And so I came up with this thing called Self-Aligned by 7:59. When you get up, you're going to pray and praise. Start with a P. Then you want to exercise and eat. It starts with an E. Then you want to read and reflect. It starts with an R. You want to dream and direct. It starts with a D. You're going to do all those things before 7:59 in the morning. If you do that, it allows God to download your schedule and load your direction. And when you go to somewhere like a church, you get a better seat when you allow the usher to seat you versus you coming in looking. You don't know if somebody took that seat, there's a person in it, but the usher ushers you into the best seat faster. When you seek God first, no matter what career you're in, then He can give you direction and usher you into the best steps and the best moves for your life. And that's what I would tell you if I was on the elevator and only had 5 minutes.
Well, I tell you what, we appreciate you so much. Let's tell them about, again, your reality show, Thicker Than Water, The Tankards. Where can we see it again?
TV CJC. That's Charlie, Juliet, Charlie. CJC. TVCJC.com. Every Sunday night and a rebroadcast at 11 p.m. And we're doing like Tyler Perry, man. We're not going to have a new episode every week. We're going to have one episode and milk that sucker for 2 or 3 weeks, and then we'll release it. You're not going to binge watch just 1 week and be done with me. We're going to stretch it out, baby.
We're going to stretch it out. How can we get your music and your books? Anything that you have?
Just go to bentankard.me. That's easy to remember. bentankard.me. The thing about me is that bentankard.me.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. Shout out to your publicist, Desiree Benson, putting us together. Thank her so much. Thank you, lady, for everything. Hey, Mr. Ben, we are going to be on there. We're going to be looking, and we are going to be taking care of each other now, unity and collaboration after you talk to us about it.
Amen. Amen. We honor you for allowing me to be with you today. And let's have this thing outside of the screen. If you need me for anything, Desiree has my numbers for you, man. Just call me. I'm your brother. Got wings, we'll fly.
There you go. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. The Cam Hill Show, 12:30, 1:30 Central Standard Time. See you then. Bye.